In 1985, the world was introduced to what would become Nintendo's mascot and future confidence builder, Mario. A simple character that had a simple goal: run to the right and make it to the flagpole. It's a goal I've been chasing since my earliest memories. In between the running, challenges are introduced to make the game fun. Enemies such as turtles and Goombas get in your way as you traverse the level. You can defeat them by jumping on them, hitting them with a fireball, or simply jumping over them. When this game was cut loose, it exploded in popularity. Everyone I knew had this game. My parents even bought us an NES just so that they could play this game. Nintendo would release a follow-up to the original Super Mario Bros. With Super Mario Bros. 2, known to us in the West as The Lost Levels. This game has the same aesthetics as the original game, but it ramped up the difficulty significantly. You figure this out in the very first level when you pick up the mushroom. But this mushroom has different colors, and it hurts you. We in the West didn't get this game until it was released on the Super Mario All-Stars cartridge for the Super Nintendo in 1993. Instead of the Lost Levels, we got Super Mario Bros. 2. This game is drastically different from the first Mario game. You can drop down and ascend to new areas. You can pick up plants and vegetables to throw at enemies. You can even pick up those enemies and throw them at other enemies to kill them. Just like the previous game, you play as Mario. However, you can now bypass Mario and choose to play as Luigi, Toad, and Princess Toadstool. Each of these characters has a different ability that helps you progress through each stage. Luigi has a high jump. Toad is faster and is a champion digger. And Peach can float for long distances. Needless to say, it's different. I never thought much of it. It was always fun. I figured it was the next step in the Mario evolution. By now, we all know that this game is a reskin of another game called Doki Doki Panic. This doesn't diminish it at all. It's still a fun Mario game. The third Mario game is one of the best games ever made. It went back to having Mario as the only playable character, but it added so much more. The old power-ups from the original Mario have returned. The mushroom and the fire flower. It also added new ones such as the frog suit that allowed you to actually have fun in water levels, the Hammer Brothers suit that gave you the ability to give them a taste of their own medicine, and the power-up that cranked this game up to 11, the leaf. The leaf gives you the ability to fly. When you get it, Mario grows ears and sprouts a tail. Once you wind up with a run, off you go to the heavens. If you get a P-Wing, boy oh boy, you can fly over the entire level without tiring out. If you happen to grab the Tanuki suit, you have the same power of flight from the leaf. Plus, you can temporarily turn into a statue and become invincible for short periods of time. In addition to new power-ups, this game gave us all new worlds to explore. Mario's controls have been upgraded with the most precision that he's ever had. Your jumps can now be manipulated in the air, so platforming is now precise. I can no longer blame the game for my mistakes and dying. Never has a Mario game looked and felt so great. How would Nintendo top Mario 3? Could they make a Mario game that could be better, or even come close to being as great as Mario 3? The Super Nintendo released in 1990. The newest Mario game launched with it, as in, it was the pack-in game with the system. Super Mario World was the first game I ever experienced on the SNES. This new Mario game's visuals were amazing. The colors were so vibrant, and the graphics blew my mind. I love this pixel effect when you go into a stage. Mario controls almost exactly as he does in Mario 3. His ability to change directions mid-jump make platforming a breeze. The music and sound effects are amazing. The power-ups have been dialed back somewhat from Mario 3. The frog suit, the Hammer Brothers suit, Tanuki suit, P-Wing, and Leaf have all been taken away. You can still get the mushroom and fire flower, but you can now get the feather, which gives you a cape and the ability to fly. But with this new flight power, you can perform a gliding maneuver that can get you to places that you'll need to reach in order to complete the game. This is the pinnacle of 2D Mario games. It's also the last of the classic Mario games. There was soon to be a drought of 2D Mario. But calm down, you're saying. There were other 2D Mario games. And to that I say you're right. Super Mario Land was a launch title for the Game Boy. This is a whole new Mario experience. Mario controls exactly how you would expect him to control on a Game Boy game. It's pretty stiff and isn't nearly as easy to control on a jump. The Fire Flower is now a ball that bounces all over the screen, and you will endure all new enemies along with some old favorites. Stage settings are in a whole new territory. The music is also something to behold. I really like the Game Boy music, and this one doesn't disappoint. I enjoyed this game as a kid, and I enjoy it now. I didn't complain about the controls when I played it because it was great having a platforming Mario game on the go. 3 years later in 1992, the final 2D Mario game would be released. It was exclusive to the Game Boy, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. This game looks very similar to Mario 3 and Super Mario World. Mario looks like Mario. The controls have been improved massively over the original Super Mario Land game. He feels great when running and jumping. He's been given a new power-up with the carrot that gives Mario bunny ears and allows him to gradually float for small periods of time. Again, the soundtrack is amazing, though I've always been a fan of the Game Boy's music. All in all, this game is fantastic. Having it available on the go was mind-blowing for me. I always thought it was every bit as good as the console games. A remake of Super Mario Bros. Was made for the Game Boy Color. It was called Super Mario Bros. Deluxe and was released in 1999. It was basic Mario with a compromise. The screen was zoomed in, which made it difficult to see enemies and hazards. Though this game did include a perk that wasn't readily available. It included the original Super Mario Bros. 2, also known as the Lost Levels, as a secret reward. This game kicked off a flurry of Mario remakes that went on to be released on the Game Boy Advance. Get ready, because these games were named in the most confusing way possible. In 2001, Super Mario Advance was released for the Game Boy Advance. This is not the original Mario game with the updated graphics. No. This is Mario 2 with updated graphics and sounds. It was based on the Super Mario All-Stars version, but has been made for the Game Boy Advance. It looks and controls great. I was happy to have this game on the GBA. A Super Nintendo quality Mario game on the go. Sign me up. You pretty much got what you thought you were getting. Mario 2 on the Game Boy Advance. The very next year, another remake was released on the Game Boy Advance, Super Mario Advance 2, which is a remake of Super Mario World. The name of this game is Super Mario World Super Mario Advance 2. This looks and feels pretty much like the Super Nintendo original. I love Super Mario World so much, and I was happy to shell out my hard-earned allowance for this GBA remake. It was fun playing it on all the car trips my parents dragged me on. The next Super Mario Advance game to be released would be Super Mario Advance 3 Yoshi Island. As I'm talking about 2D Mario games, I'm going to visit the Yoshi Island games later, so I'll skip this one for now. The final installment for the Super Mario Advance series was released in 2003. It would be a remake of Super Mario 3. To put this into perspective, Mario 2 was the first release, followed by Super Mario World, then by Yoshi Island, topped off with Mario 3. The official title for this game is Super Mario Advance 4 Super Mario Bros. 3. This is a mouthful of words and numbers. Keeping this straight is trying to figure out how to unwind a ball of twisted up wire. Besides the very confusing release order and naming, this game is crazy good. It is as fun as the NES and SNES versions. It was so fun playing this game on a handheld, revisiting all the familiar places I had played on the older releases, but this game has a secret. If you happened to buy an e-reader and had the Mario 3 cards, you could unlock new levels that were made for this game. Unfortunately, I was unaware of this addition and I skipped the e-reader. If I had known, I think I would have made my parents buy me one. There existed additional levels for Super Mario Bros. 3, and I couldn't get my hands on what was necessary to play them. It's too bad that these levels weren't available in the standalone cartridge. Fortunately, I did buy a Wii U. Why do I bring this up when I'm talking about the Game Boy Advance? Well, Nintendo released the GBA version of Mario 3 on the Wii U Virtual Console. With this release, they also included the additional levels from the e-reader cards. For $8, you can have this game in all of its glory, and it looks great over HDMI on my TV. I'm still not sure why these games couldn't have been called by their original names. The Donkey Kong Country games were remade for the Game Boy Advance and they all retained their original names. I think they made it more confusing when they were trying to make it less confusing, by letting everyone know that these were Game Boy Advance versions. Looking past the names, the games were fantastic. It was fun playing them on the portable Game Boy Advance. Some people don't count these as 2D Mario releases because they're remakes of games that were made from past Nintendo systems. But if you haven't played them, I'd say go for it. It's always fun playing games in a different light than what you're used to. Super Mario Land 2 was the final original classic 2D Mario game that was made. These games were so important to me as a youth. I looked forward to playing them when I got home from school. I stayed up late playing them during summer vacation. I played them while I was traveling with my family across the country. I grew up on side-scrolling 2D Mario platforming games. They are imprinted on my soul. Classic Mario was a simple character with a simple goal. I will be chasing that goal for as long as I can.